Yeah, I'm in the office because most of harvest is done, so it's time for planning for the next year, which starts with taking soil samples. Now, a lot of people, when they get their results back, everybody runs to the phosphorus and the potash to figure out your nutrient levels. But we need to take a step back here because there's a lot of information on this report. And the importance of that information is that it adds context to those nutrient numbers. So let's dive in. The number one thing that I look at, pH. There's two different pH numbers here. The reason pH is the first thing I look at is because if that thing is out of whack, now pH is telling you how acidic or basic your soil is, and if that thing is out of whack, the other numbers don't matter because those other numbers, the availability is dictated by the pH. Growing corn and soybeans in Iowa, I want this number to be around 6.3 to 6.5. So this guy's going to want a little bit of lime. He's going to want a little bit of lime basically just to maintain that number. He's probably going to be okay. But what does this guy mean? So that buffer index is basically telling you how hard or easy it's going to be to help change the pH, which is going to figure into your lime recommendations. This buffer index is mostly influenced by the CEC or the cation exchange capacity, as well as your organic matter. So how do we change pH? In the area that I am in, usually our pH issues is that they're too acidic or too low. So we want to change that. And the way we do that is by adding lime. Now there's many different sources of lime and it depends on where you live at. Basically there's going to be two major types of ag lime, which is going to be either calcitic lime or dolomitic lime. Now many people will think that it's the calcium in lime that is changing the pH, but this isn't so. It's actually the carbonate, because it's the carbonate that's reacting with those hydrogen ions, because hydrogen is what brings our pH down. Hydrogen is like the source of acidity. So it depends on the carbonate. So you can either have calcitic lime, which is calcium carbonate, or dolomitic lime, which is magnesium carbonate. So yeah, pH is important for everything else. On to the next. Cation exchange capacity, CEC. Cation exchange capacity tells us a lot about our soil type. It's really telling us how big of a sponge is our soil, how many nutrients, cations, can it hold on to. The higher the CEC, basically the more nutrients it can hang on to. So you get increased CEC by having organic matter as well as clay type soils, because clay has a lot of sites for cations to hang on.